And welcome back one and all, my name's Eltimar, and we are going to be continuing our Let's Play of Torment, Tides of Numenera. Where we left off last time, we were going back to talk to Mapper. We explored the place he wanted us to explore. We also returned a book, because we're good people. I have discovered the location of the Changing God's Sanctuary. He leans forward, and the blue eye begins to gleam more brightly. Tell me about it, he whispers. As you speak, Mapper stares at the exposed patch of flesh on his arm. New lines etch into his skin, unfurling themselves across the space. He smiles tightly and shifts in his seat. Yes, he murmurs. Yes! He slaps his face a bit, bringing some flesh to his cheeks, and smiles again. Anyway, I owe you a map, don't I? He takes a big breath and says, the White Death is hiding in a place called the Cave of Last Words. It's an old thieves' bolt hole. They say Kyla herself used it, but they don't say where it is. He smiles. Persistence pays, though. It's always been my watchword.
I'll remember that.
There's one way to get to it through the caravanserai, but it's sealed tight. I never found a way in. But you can get there from the underground. The Stika know. They dug there. They can dig there again. Have you heard anything about the murders down here? Murders? What murders? Alarm colors his face and a faint red streak runs through his tattoos. No one tells me anything. He sighs. One of the drawbacks of being a drifter, I suppose. No one thinks to keep you informed. Then he looks around. Of course, in a place like this, people don't generally talk to each other much anyway. Have you been to the Stika lair? I can tell you what's in there. Are you joking? Can you really? Tell me. He stares avidly at you, his blue prosthetic gleaming. As you speak, the space clears on his skin and new lines pull themselves to the surface. He moans as if in the throes of deep pleasure. The Stika lair. Yes, like I was there. The eye clicks and whirs for a moment, then he stares at the new tattoo. That smell. Did you notice the smell in the lair? Like lightning and dust, he smiles. Thanks to you, you've done right by me. Alright.
Go.
Who else are we supposed to talk to here? We are not going to bring Rin back. Or we can resolve the issue.
Go.
Maybe we can do it in a good way. I guess we'll find out very shortly. We'll save before doing that. We're also going to rest. And then we're going to use this Stika to go to the next area. You find a jumbled pile of large rocks at the end of this rough-hewn tunnel. The motionless limbs of a Stichus protrude from the mound, the rents in its carapace painted with dried ichor. Let's try and move this thing out of the way. Who's good at might? Thank you. Stat pools spent on effort restored. The first rock is the hardest to shift. Once you warm to the task, you are nearly flinging them aside until you have fully exposed the corpse. Let's examine it. Clearly the creature was digging this tunnel when the roof collapsed and killed it. Its smaller claw is mangled and smashed, but apart from the crushed thorax and a few gashes on its carapace, the body is surprisingly intact. That's all there is to it, I guess. Oh, there's something to loot here as well. Some money.
Why not? Yes.
Anything else? Nope. Let's go talk to Outcast. Nope, wrong one. Or maybe I'd talk to this one. What does he have to say? Nope.
Alright.
He's good. The Pauper we don't need to talk to. Chikek will tell him about the dead thing if he needs to know. I don't know if he does. No. No, he doesn't care.
I'm ready.
We have a lot of little quests to do, though. We're going to the wrong one. Wrong district, but that's okay. We'll just walk to the other one. It won't take very long. Or we could have asked him to take us there. Damn it. In fact, it might be faster to do it that way.
I am the very soul of action.
It's not that far. So, we're going to quickly go rest up. We do have a lot of buildings to still enter in that district as well. Lots of stuff to do in this game. People said it was a short game, which is actually okay, because Tyranny was a short game, and I have 9 minutes of battery power left. That is not good. 1 second, guys. I'm going to fix that small problem.
Let's do
In fact, I will start running to the right place, and then just fix that power problem. Definitely smacked my head on my desk. Very
sure
suave and smooth. Let's get some rest in here. And now we're plugged in, so we're all good. Hopefully, for now. Let us Sleep. Also, my dog is now barking. That's wonderful. I'll pay. I need to take a nap. We need to get all of our stats back.
Thanks.
Wake up, a woman says, and you do. She stands, arms folded, watching you with a grim expression. There's been another murder in the underbelly, she says. A little mutant named Crooked Keek. Folsom wants words with you. She turns to walk away. If I were you, I'd head down there now. Oh, I liked Crooked Keek. I'm actually really sad that she's dead. She was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's something I could do.
That sucks. I'm gonna go down and talk to them, because that's obviously pretty important right now. Let's go deal with that. Poor Crooked Keek. She was a cute little fisher mutant. Let's go see what's going on. There's gonna be a murder happening. It's gonna be me murdering someone for killing that little mutant for no reason.
Alright, here I go.
Let's go talk. Let's go direct, I guess I should say. A tiny skinned hand rests palm down at the center of a huge pool of blood. On the nearby wall, someone has drawn a bloody circle pierced by jagged symbols. Let's inspect the hand on the pool of blood. The skinned hand at the center of the pool is small and misshapen. Nothing else remains of the victim. Nothing remains of Crooked Keek. Let's examine the circle. Your hand reaches towards the streaks and bubbles of blood of its own accord, and an iron spike drives through your temples. You stand before a blank wall. Sickening purple-black light spills around the corner behind you. This is your temple, and you've been driven into a dead end by her. Blood seeps through the wall from the other side, drawing the familiar shape. Frightened, confused, you trace a line, and a gate opens with a wet crunch. The vision collapses, leaving you panting. Let's examine again. Nothing else. Okay. Let's go talk to the investigator, I guess. Folsom wants to talk to us about this, and I can't imagine why. He's obviously not happy. He beckons at you with a hard, sharp motion, his jaw set, his teeth partly bared. Someone else was murdered in your absence, he says. A woman called Crooked Keek was killed in the water. He turns his face from you. I ask that you share any information you have, and if you do not find some... I don't got anything yet. We should probably ask around about this problem. It's obviously continuing, and we should probably at least try and fix it. Also, there's a robot there. I'm gonna go ahead and say it's a robot. Looks like one. What does it do? The construct looms over you, frozen mid-step. Its heavy limbs and barreled body have been recently polished by careful hands, but the joints themselves are completely fused. This creature hasn't moved in some time. It studies you with eyes made of swirling orange fire. Late for your first shift, Synthsmith, it growls. Grab a station and a hammer, and damn well get to work. I'm not one of your... Get to work! After an hour of work, the master foreman bellows you back over. You go, stretching your aching arms. They feel so much stronger than before. Supervisor tells me you're not the Synthsmith he hired, but I gave you some work to do, and you damn well got to it. I respect that, but we only take on experienced Synthsmiths here. His fiery eyes flare. Now, I don't want you thinking we let people work for free. I had the supervisor leave you some shins for that hour of work. Take it. Now, why are you actually here? Out with it. Who are you? I am the master foreman, the construct declares. His tone puts you in mind of someone speaking while saluting, the mind and the will behind the city you see today. You can't move, can you? No, and I don't need to. It says, eyes flashing. A passing worker gives you a look for triggering what is apparently a familiar story. Once we foremen were the tools of the cartographers, and their vast web of machine intelligences. Submerged in the song of their will, we worked with thoughtless joy. Its voice is soft, tinged with synthetic awe. Then one day the song fell silent, and our bodies froze where they stand, even now. Some of us lost our faith in those first few centuries, it growls. Some of us thought the cartographers were punishing us or had abandoned us. Only I saw their absence for what it was. His words grew hoarse. It was a gift of free will. We were their tools no longer. We were our own masters, freed from the chains of thoughtless motion, free to imagine our future, and so we did for millennia. Who were these cartographers? We don't know, it admits. The most we know of them is their names in the code, and the vessels we were building for them that they never claimed. Our creation came at their order, but we've never known their faces, only their song. While the others dithered and wailed, I bent my mind to the future. It continues. I analyzed the work we had done for the cartographers. To my shame, I found flaws in the processes. I removed them. Its eyes burned brighter. For the next cluster of centuries, I studied a vast catalog of known technology and Numenera in my mind and strung them together, creating new inventions for the day when the cartographers returned and reactivated us. He sighs, but that day never came. But humans eventually did? Yes, and though you are flawed and fragile, you made perfect tools, just as we had once been. Your people found us, and the era of my greatest work began. They asked us to help them raise the city until it cast all others in shadow, to cobble their artifacts and their trinkets into grand devices that would power every corner and make them safe from their enemies. And I told them, it coughs, as if holding back tears, I told them I had a plan. You see the fruit of our mighty work all about you. I may have some business for you. You need work done? If it can be built, fixed, or solved, you come to the right place. I need to get to an underground location. Can you make me a digging device of some kind? Yes, the Master Foreman declares, his glowing eyes scanning the ceiling. Stalkers bring me the war machine casing from Z-19, the intelligence nexus from B2, and the scouring claws from my personal collection. It lowers his eyes to you. Now let's talk payment. Make sure you include the cost of repairing the damage done by unleashing an insane war machine with molten claws on the city. The distant artisan calls. Stalkers, stand by, the Master Foreman shouts. Artisan's not wrong, he says in a much lower voice. For once, that might be more construct than you need. Give me a moment. The eyes wink out for several seconds. Engines embedded in the construct's chest roar. Then their eyes reignite. Find me the intact corpse of a Stychus. We can reinforce the carapace and recover the spatial memory system if it's not too far gone. Should lead you straight to its lair, and since you're supplying the materials, I'll waive the cost. We found a Stychus corpse in a dead-end tunnel on the far side of the underbelly. Will that work? The construct's flickering eyes become a bonfire. Fetchers, it roars. Artificers, report to the supervisor for a new project. Hours later, the workers trudge back. The supervisor makes a complicated hand sign to the Master Foreman. You find the construct where you left it, ready for use. The construct grumbles. I should have asked you to pay for it after all. Supervisor says it's a masterpiece. Its eyes dim as it descends into deeper thought. But no, deal's a deal. Let's talk business again. I need advice on repairing a crystalline device in the reef. Consultation, eh? Tell you what, bring me a piece of the device to examine and I'll count the examination as payment for the advice rendered. Deal? Okay. You're gonna help me for free? A short consultation isn't worth the cost of an invoice. Bring the shard or don't, I'm busy here. Can't you send one of your workers down there? No, I need the fetchers ready to act, and I'm not sending a synthsmith. They get lost in the first bar they run across. Alright, let's talk about something else. Actually, let's talk about that broken device. Are you sure you don't want to send one of your workers? Can't spare the lost work, we're on a schedule. Don't have it on me. Well, go find one. I don't hazard guesses, I analyze, design, and execute. Okay. Why are you so loud? Maybe you haven't noticed, the construct says sourly. But it's noisy down here. A foreman who doesn't shout can't be heard. This is the volume of leadership. Who are you again? Okay, I just wanted to make sure he had nothing to say. Oh, he does have something to say. I am the Master Foreman, formerly a mindless servant of the wise cartographers, now the architect behind the City of Wonders. Don't listen to any of that, calls the distant construct. All of us were involved. If we're up to master efficiency over there, we would have bolted wheels to the workers' feet and put them on rails. Fused, not bolted, fused. Let's talk about the other constructs. Can't spend much time chatting, it says, but lowers his voice. You've shown an interest in us, and I appreciate that. The truth is that there are no other foremen. Not really. Yes, there are, the Master Artisan bellows cheerfully from across the manufactory. No, there aren't. Do you two always bicker like this? The Artisan is a weaker mind, tarnished by our long years in the dark, it says. It does nothing but ridicule my great work. The truth is that we were once a single mind, but when the cartographers left us, our minds settled into different containers, pools if you will, and while theirs grew stagnant and self-indulgent, mine remained clean, untainted, pure. Ignoring the snort from the distant Artisan, the Master Foreman continues. While the years poured past, I felt the slow ruin of the city and the cartographers had left behind. It haunted me, and so I vowed to undo the damage that time had done. Okay. What differentiates you from the other constructs again? Willpower, purity of purpose, authority, and a gift for leadership. I notice you haven't spoken much about the third construct, or foreman, the one with no legs. There's a reason for that. I focus my intellect on the designing everything from useful devices to structures that will last 1,000 generations. It sniffs. The Master Artisan contributes at least, even if he prefers focusing on delicately etched flowers, base aesthetics. And a good thing too, calls Artisan, otherwise Sagittarius would look like a stack of unpolished metal cubes. Beauty is just as important as function, if not more so. So I've heard, the construct mutters, but beauty doesn't keep a city safe or structurally sound. At first, the third one in our little group helped with great endeavor. Our workers scavenged pipes from the ruins beneath the city, harnessed the power in the cartographer vessels, and directed it through Sagittarius cliffs. But in the centuries since, the other foreman has grown doubtful. Not useful doubt, mind you, not the kind that leads it to more efficient designs and processes? No. The other foreman has existential doubt and wonders why we are alive, as if we actually are. And it has become so obsessed with the idea of producing offspring to the point of dismantling itself to do so. He snorts sentimental drivel bordering on perversion. What's wrong with the crippled one again? Creates offspring. I'm looking for an albino woman named Metkina. Have you seen her? Yes, the construct says. She wanted us to repair her temporal manipulation device. Planned on fiddling around in her past, no doubt. Don't recommend it, but it's not my business if people want to tangle reality. You suddenly feel dizzy, unaware. The construct carries on. Nothing was wrong with her artifact. It probably meant there was something wrong with her. But again, that's none of my business. You blink, swaying. Open your eyes on a different time.
To become even more heroic.
The underbelly is not yet what it will become. The three foremen are dim shapes wavering in the hemisphere of light. The air is thick with dust, and the great engines beyond are cold and silent. True to its nature, the Master Foreman is lecturing you. No, the construct says. What matters is that it can be done. Should doesn't matter. Should is a waste of everyone's time. Are you fainting, the Master Foreman? The present one says suspiciously. No fainting allowed on the manufactory floor. We can't have workers tripping over you and toppling into forges. We'll miss deadlines. You open your eyes and the memory collapses. I'm good now, I guess. Are we done here? Yeah, I guess so. Let's go interact with the one that wants to make itself babies. Segments of this bisected construct's legs lie scattered around it. Someone has painstakingly altered these pieces, giving them small limbs and tiny metallic heads. Nonetheless, they aren't moving. The larger construct's turquoise eyes flicker out of sync with each other as they turn towards you. I do not understand, it says. The voice emerging from the grill around its eyes is soft, as though you were hearing it from far away. Don't they want to live? The viaducts are open, the commands are received, and yet... Its eyelids flutter. Every time I give my children life, they die. These tiny things are your children? Not anymore, it says. Now they are inanimate and lifeless. Their adaptive personalities have been lost. I do not understand why they are dying. I have given the subject of procreation a great deal of thought over the last century, and there are no errors in my calculation. My assistant Tarnish built my children's bodies to my precise specifications. Their intelligence reservoirs are shielded against permanent loss. It looks away, his eyes look away from yours as if embarrassed, and I want them to live. That should be enough. I wish I could help you some way. It may be that you can, he says. I performed some new calculations and a new direction has presented itself.
Making a note.
My children need more energy to live, but my construction prevents me from transfers above a certain threshold, and for good reason. Its pupils rotate, contracting. Energy transfers above a certain percentage would lead to a chain of ruptures in my intelligence rings. I would die. Its voice mesh clicks. Help me force myself to make this transfer, for I cannot do it myself. Help me give life to my children. Will you help me? The foreman says. The words are almost buried beneath a crackling surge of static. How do I begin? Speak to Tarnish, my assistant. He may be able to help you understand how I function if he's feeling well enough. Can I examine you? Yes, it says. Tarnish, open my preservation hatches and viaduct shields, please. The elderly workman shuffles over and does as he's asked. Elegard steps up beside you and gives you a low whistle. Not sure I understand everything that I'm looking at, but I'll tell you this. Killing this construct's not a job for one person. If you decide to do what it wants, I'll lend a hand. You've never seen technology like this. Wires pass through glass tubes, threaded with pale light and star-speckled darkness. You glance over at Tarnish. He's looking away, arms crossed, as though unwilling to watch a stranger tinker with his master. Anamnesis. A vision falls on you like a wave swallowing a swimmer. You approach this foreman, still possessed of his legs, and open the same hatches that Tarnish did. I know it looks complex, the foreman says, but the viaducts are the simplest part. The machine spirit, me that is trickier. Even I don't fully understand it. It laughs. Me. The vision fades, leaving you standing before the ruins of that once cheerful construct again. Let's try and do this ourselves. We can do 75% on ourselves, 85% on him, shockingly 85% on our dumb guy, and 65 on her. We're gonna go with my gut and do it with this guy. Working blindly, you jam your hands into the foreman's body, ripping, realigning, and undoing untold amounts of damage in your attempt to fulfill the construct's wishes. Eventually you succeed. Cold energy pours through the air like blood from a wound, flooding into the motionless children. One by one, their tiny eyes flicker to life. One by one, the foreman's eyes go out. Its voice mesh rattles as if it's going to speak, but it doesn't. It can't. The children watch the death of their parent with wide, glowing eyes. You'd want me to thank you, the old man says hoarsely, but I ain't. You knew him all of 10 minutes. Known him my entire life, I have. And you came and took him from me. Without a look at his master's children, Tarnish sets off into the dark. Some of the little constructs wander in circles, tripping to themselves. One of them is already making for the exit, and one is motionless, stillborn. Let's take the dead one and let the other ones go free. You carefully pick up the stillborn construct, cradling it. The rest of the foreman's children chased each other for a few moments longer before following the one heading for the exit. Algren grunts. That was a good thing you did, kid. I don't know if many people will agree with that. What is our dominant tide currently? Still gold. Okay, we're at 20 minutes. We really need to figure out about the murders here, so let's go look and try and talk to some people down here. Wait, weren't we supposed to talk to the assassin? Yeah, we have to go talk to Matkina. Okay,
Alright, Rin,
first though we're
we
gonna
can
go
do
deal with
this.
this slave problem. Rin needs to have a conclusion to her little story before we go gallivanting off further after an assassin. I'm not gonna sell her into slavery, anybody, so if you're worried about that.
Action! Here
I want to see her as a character. Apparently she has a really cool character. I've heard good things about having her around, so we're going to keep her. And hopefully things won't go too badly for us with these slavers who are, I'm sure, not going to be thrilled.
It's a plan.
We need to go to... There. We're already in the right district. Perfect. Game saved. We are nowhere near a level, sadly. But
Onward!
our Redis is up a level, so let's get him. Improved skill. We can give him healing, persuasion, and running. Initiative might be nice. Endurance is also nice. But I think smashing is going to be what we're going to go with. Let's make him the best at smashing. Kinetic overdrive. Not bad. No, we're going to go with elbow grease. And then we're going to go with... Fell swoop is really nice. Yep. That's the one. And we're going to increase... He's using a heavy weapon. Is he using a heavy? He's using a heavy weapon. Oh yeah, heavy melee right there. Alright, heavy weapon it is.
Go.
Okay. He's our only real fighter, so. She grabs your wrist and stops walking. She's trembling, staring at Tolmagur standing atop the platform.
It's her. Don't take me up there. Don't make me go back to her.
She looks at you, her eyes wide and pleading. What'd she do to you? She's, what's the word? She steals people. Her tone is low, and she keeps herself partially hidden behind you. It's clear she doesn't want to attract attention. She found me, said I was her property. Those thugs were looking for me, she sent them. But I won't go back, I'm never going back. Don't worry, I'll figure out some way to solve this amicably. Alright, she seems cautious but trusting. We're gonna quick save yet again.
Yes.
Ah, there's my lost little bird. Glad you found her. Now just send her on over here and we'll count this job done. I don't want to go, she whispers. I'm not giving her to you. We need to talk about this, Toll. No, we don't. Just give me the girl and... She puts a hand to her face. Fine, fine. I didn't want to tell you this, but damn it. She grits her teeth. Here's my dirty secret, and if you tell anyone, I'll burn your flesh and scatter your bones. I'm a cast-off like you. You want to know why I want the girl? It's because she helps control the tides in me. She keeps them from slipping out into the world. Without Rin, everyone around me gets hurt or even killed. If I use an adult for this, they die. So here's the deal. Give me the kid, and I'll teach you how to control your tides better. Don't, and, well, let's not get into it, eh? She holds out her hand to Rin. No deal. We'll have to settle it some other way. No, the time for talk is over. She stares at you and you feel a sudden swirl in your psyche, a cacophony of dueling emotions. She's doing something with the tides, filling you with sickness and despair, the overwhelming compulsion to lie down and sob. She stops, a grim smile on her face. You want an example of what cast-offs can do? You want to know why I want the girl? She stops me from doing that. Now give her to me. How about this? Stop using your tides to hurt people or tell the cult of the changing god that you're a cast-off. Her face loses some of its mocking cheer and she speaks slowly and deliberately. If you do that, I will spread your guts across the harbor. You do not put these mewling sycophants on my tail. Are we clear? She smiles sweetly. Now, send Rin over here. Did you just tides on me? Is that what you do with Rin? Frequently, she smirks. Do you have a problem with it? Enslaving Rin is destroying her life and her potential anyway. One way or another, you're killing her. She's prepared an angry retort, but it dies on her lips. I don't know. I'll let her go when... Damn it. So how can you justify keeping Rin in your custody? Release your claim. We are good at talking. Who's good at talking too? Everyone is. Except for him, he's kinda dumb. Rin maybe shouldn't talk in her own defense. Use your intellect.
Making a note.
She grits her teeth. Fine, you've convinced me. You can keep her, but you treat her right, you hear? And if I even get a hint that you made Rin unhappy, I'll track you across the 9th world. She considers a moment, and the miasma that fills your mind lifts. You know what? I'll even live up to my end of the bargain. I'm going to teach you about your tides because it'll help you keep Rin safe. You ready for this? Let's do it. She fights to keep the despairing sneer on her face. You know I hate all of this cast-off skist, yeah? Alright. So the changing god, he made us. Maybe not on purpose. Maybe we're just an accident, but he made us. He uses the tides to transfer his mind. You felt them, I'm sure. Surges of power, emotion, whatever. That's the tides, and they're pushing around inside you. You focus them into something. You can make a weapon out of them. Manifests differently for each of us. Most of us don't think about it, but I figure use every tool at your disposal. She breathes out. Close your eyes. Feel that coiling power in you? That's the tides. Now feel this. I'm going to push a little power at you. Try and fight it off. With your eyes closed, you can see the energy emanating from her, a dark and angry spike of red-hued power that drifts towards you. Instinctively, you raise your hands to bat it away, and she snorts. With your mind, use your tides. As the tidal dagger drifts closer to you, you feel something inside of you uncoiling, a vast and restless power whose depths you can barely comprehend. It's reminiscent of the energy you used to blast the sorrow fragments from your mind, but now you can control it, and you breathe out, pushing the probe away. That's it, she says. That's it. Practice that. She pushes away. We're done. Now that I know you're a cast-off, let's talk about you a little more. It's not a core part of my identity, you know. I don't walk around thinking, oh, I'm a cast-off. Let me think about my place in the world. She jabs a finger into your chest. I am my own person. Got it? But fine, ask your questions. Do you know anything about Makina? She shrugs. I've heard the name. I know she trades with a bad crowd. I never met her. Don't know where she lives or who she knows. Never hope to either. I'll ask about her again. Nothing new. Do you know any other cast-offs? I knew Rastrad, Glaive, covered in living metal armor. He had some underworld connections. It didn't end well for him. Last I heard, he scrambled his brain trying to change his past with dodgy Numenera. For the rest of us cast-offs, no, I keep to myself, and I'll thank you to keep my existence a secret. What is it you hope to accomplish with your life? Why become a slaver when you're effectively immortal? She eyes you speculatively. Why? Because it was easy to fall into the life, because it was a challenge to get good at it, because I don't particularly care what others think about me. She rakes her hair back. The tattoo? It doesn't define me. I'm not the man who made me. I owe him nothing. I owe you nothing. I owe the world nothing. It's my life and these are my choices. Don't you think you could do some good for people? What makes you think I'm not? Look, you're approaching this all wrong. You see slaves, you think mistreatment. I see criminals and burdens. Sure, they're not going to find happier lives right away, but once they finish their service, they get to live. Most of them anyway, so kiss my arse. This is good for them. I have no standing to judge your choices, then what gives you the right to judge others? You mean, who gives me the right? And the answer is easy. She smiles crookedly. I do. That's the whole point of this exercise, isn't it? My life, my rules. You don't like it? Get out of the way. No one is making you deal with me. She spits. If you don't have any other epiphanies you want to share with me, I've got some important, none of your business to attend to. Do you know anything about the sorrow? The what? She looks genuinely puzzled for a moment. Oh, you mean that monster that looks like the knight mated with some year-old corpse? I don't. Nothing that would be helpful anyway. I felt it a while back, though. She shivers. Felt like it glanced my way. Felt like it told me. Not yet. She shakes her head free of the memory. But no, can't help you with anything with it. Anything about the sorrow? Nope. You were telling me about the tides. She eyes you warily. What about them? What's the deal with Rin? She caught my pain. When the tides well up in me and overflow, she took her excess and kept me from hurting others. Don't know how, but it was a service. Without her, these others around me, they take the brunt. And while they like the experience in small amounts, any larger surge poisons them, lays them low. It's even killed a couple, so the girl is essential to well-being of those around me. What's the deal with your followers? They seem a little strange. She gives them a quick glance. They are. Rin filtered, I guess, my tides. I turn my energy outwards and it makes most people sick, but Rin changed that. Instead of making them sick, it gives them hallucinations. Pleasant dreams, a euphoria that improves their days. Right now they're suffering because I've been bleeding off into them, slowly. Bad combination. How about tidal surges? Why? It's different for each of us. I can't tell you how the world looks through your eyes, or what something tastes like on your tongue. You gotta figure out that on your own. I can't tell you that you don't like meat, or what you think. I don't know. Fungus is delicious. You see the world your own way? It's what makes you. Why am I even telling you this? It's remedial, experimental, or experiential philosophy. Surges again, nothing new. Talk about cast-offs again. Nothing there. Anything else? I want to talk about... no, that's going to be it. We're out of time anyways. We're over time again. So we're going to end here. Like always, if you have any suggestions or comments, please leave them below. Others, I'll see you guys next time. We will be continuing on. Now we have some... where's my character sheets? We got trained with something. Title affinity. Which is actually good, because there's a title affinity thing earlier that I can't recall exactly where that we needed.
Look out below!
I'm gonna go figure that out at some point. I don't remember exactly where it was. So, like always, if you have any suggestions, comments, leave them below. Take care, guys. See you tomorrow. Also, we'll level up Rin in the next video. See you guys later.